Hello and welcome to week 2. So I thoroughly enjoyed getting to know each one of you as you introduced yourself on the discussion board last week. And I loved the fact that I am seeing students that I have in other classes right now or have had in the past or are taking the class because it was recommended to them by a friend of theirs. So I really appreciated you taking the time to introduce yourself so that we could build our little online community within this class. So you will find that most of the time when I respond to your discussion boards, I'll do it within the grading feedback. Simply because that way I can make sure that you are seeing my direct feedback, because when you have the whole discussion board forum to go through, you may miss the fact that I responded to you. So make sure that you're always checking the feedback on any grades that you receive, because that's probably where you will find any comments that I had for you. Last week it simply was just welcoming you to the class and letting you know how much I was looking forward to working with you. So last week we just kind of jumped into kind of the introduction, health, safety, and nutrition. So really those are 3 different topics that we're going to be exploring, and we'll be getting into the health portion of it in week 3. But this week what we're going to do is something a little bit different, where I'm going to put you in the driver's seat, and you're going to be in charge of the learning that you have for this week. So you'll notice that the title of this week's unit is the interrelatedness of health, safety, and nutrition. And so even though they are 3 distinct topics, they do work together, because we know that the diet that a child is on is going to have a direct impact on how healthy they are, which is going to then have an impact on their physical development. So they really do all work together. But what I want you to do is I want you to start building a resource library of topics that are of interest to you, whether or not it's because you have questions about your own children, things that you're seeing in the classroom or out in the medical field. And so this really is just an opportunity for you to kind of dive into some of the topics that you're interested in. So when you go into our class for this week, remember this is always the landing page and the most recent announcement will always be at the top. But when you look at the modules for this week, you're going to see that week 2 only has one thing, and that's going to be this discussion board posting that you're going to do. So what you're going to be doing is finding 5 different topics from our textbook. And I said, yes, that means you actually have to open it. You can use the table of contents, you can use the index, but there is such a wide variety of topics that we're going to talk about over the course of this semester. And so this is your opportunity to kind of pick out some things that you might want to know more about. I promise you this is going to help you with a future assignment. So whether or not you're interested in, the menu requirements for young children, or about vaccinations, daily health checks, different disabilities that children may have. So much is going to be covered in this course. And so this really is just a chance for you to start picking out some things that you're interested in. So once you have discovered which 5 topics you want to get to know a little bit more about, then what I want you to do is I want you to find one scholarly, reliable, valid resource that discusses that. So let's say that you're interested in the nutritional guidelines for 2-year-olds. So what you need to do is you need to find a website, an article, a podcast, something that we can deem reliable and valid. And remember that Wikipedia does not count. Most of the time, if you're looking for websites that are considered reliable and scholarly, they're going to end in .org, they're going to end in .edu, .gov. So just be aware of that. Anything that has a .com normally is just kind of public domain, so it's really hard to vet whether or not the author is an expert in what it is that they are discussing. So I want you to find your topics, and then for each one of the topics, I want you to find one resource that talks about that particular topic. And so what you're going to do is for all 5 of them, cite your source. I want you to do just a paragraph summary about what you found, what that resource actually was talking about. And then what I think is the most important is going to be to assess and apply the material. So why did you choose to research that particular topic? Did you think that the resource was helpful? Did you feel like they really didn't have the answers that you wanted? Remember, there is no right or wrong. The entire purpose of this assignment is to get you out into the world of health, safety, and nutrition in children so you can find the resources that are going to be helpful to you. So just because the one that you chose to write on was not helpful doesn't mean anything other than that's not one that you're going to use in the future. And that's just as valuable as finding a fantastic resource. But hopefully you are finding ones that you do think are helpful. And so what was helpful from that particular resource? How are you going to be able to use that information? Sometimes you're doing the research because of a personal question that you have about your own children. And so that's going to be just as valuable as how are you going to use it in the classroom, because obviously we want our own children to be healthy and safe and nutritionally sound. So really this last portion is I want you to again, kind of assess the resource. Was it good? Was it not so great? But really kind of tell me what was it from it that you're going to be able to use, either personally or professionally. So hopefully this is something that you'll enjoy because, again, it's putting you in charge of something that you're interested in. Again, I promise you that you are going to use this information at some point, either on one assignment, on multiple assignments, another discussion board, but it's always great to build a personal resource library because there's so much information that's out there. So hopefully you'll enjoy getting to make it personal this week. As I said, in week 3, we're going to get into the health portion of the course, and so we'll be spending a couple of weeks on that. So enjoy being in charge of your learning this week. I'm really interested to read the resources that you have found. And again, make sure that you respond to at least 2 of your classmates and spend the time reading through what they have found, because they may have done research on something that you were also interested in, but you chose not to do research. So really, this is a way for all 25 of you to put together a great resource library. So have a great week, and I will see you in week 3.